I was super lucky to have her, and I felt so lucky.
Red Clay, Mallorca Sun, a practice court at the Rafa Nadal Academy on the 2nd of May. And on one side of the net stands a 6-time Grand Slam champion. On the other side stands a 20-year-old from the Philippines, ranked 44th in the world.
Her on court, and I'm just so blessed to have that opportunity.
According to the photographs circulating from inside the academy this week, Alexandra Eala is reportedly more than holding her own against IGA Swiatek in clay court drills, and the practice sets being whispered about in fan circles are not going the way the rankings would suggest. 48 hours later, Eala flies into Rome. The defending champion is already seated 9th in her own city. And what happens next at the Foro Italico is the question the entire WTA Tour is whispering about behind closed doors. 8 days ago in Madrid, Eala walked off court having won 3 games across 2 sets against Elise Mertens, 6-2, 6-1, and went radio silent for 48 hours. Today, May 3rd, Business World confirms she is awaiting her Italian Open opponent. The draw drops Monday, and the woman who handed Jasmine Paolini.
She's taking the balls early, taking time to you. She's still 20 years old, so yeah, she's unbelievable.
The most brutal scoreline of her 2026 season is back in the building. Jasmine Paolini is the reigning queen of Rome. She is the first Italian woman to lift the Italian Open trophy in nearly 4 decades. The Face Italian sponsors built a clay court summer around. The player Italian press has been calling the Principessa of the Foro Italico since the moment she ended the drought. She is also walking into her own coronation week with a number 9 next to her name on the entry list. A defending WTA 1000 champion seated 9th at the same tournament a year later is not a footnote. It is an indictment of the 12 months she just had. And the player most directly responsible for those 12 months ending the way they did is sitting unseated somewhere in the same draw, 3 rounds away. The script of Rome was supposed to be Paolini's redemption tour. Instead, it has the shape of an ambush. Start with the scoreline that made all of this possible, because the scoreline is the indictment. February 17th in Dubai, round of 32, 6-1, 7-6 in the tiebreak. Paolini was not edged. Paolini was not grinded down. Paolini was blitzed off her own service games inside 30 minutes by a left-hander she had never faced. It was Eala's 3rd career top 10 win and her first of the 2026 season. The kind of result that does not get explained away by jet lag or wind direction. Then came the press conference, and this is where the wound deepened. Paolini stood at a microphone and called Eala huge for women's tennis and said it was really important to have people from all around the world playing tennis. Read those words once as graciousness. Read them a second time as what they actually were. A defending finalist publicly anointing her own conqueror. That is not a compliment. That is a concession. Now look at the Rome seating sheet. Aryna Sabalenka at 1. The rest of the top 8 in order. And then 9th. The woman who lifted this trophy last year. A defending WTA 1000 champion seated outside the top 8 at the same event is the kind of statistical anomaly that happens to players whose ceilings the tour has quietly stopped believing in. Compress the last 72 hours into a sequence and the picture sharpens. May 1st, Eala back at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca on a clay practice court. May 2nd, those photographs of her drilling alongside IGA Swiatek surface across Filipino tennis pages, reportedly trading sets in practice. May 3rd, Business World files, Eala awaits opponent. And the Filipino sports desks in Manila start trending the hashtag #LabanAlex before the draw is even printed. Those who watched her sell out a Dubai stadium in February were not exaggerating. The world is recognizing what that crowd already knew when it filled the building with flags. There is a pattern here, and Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova just put it on the record. Eala has now beaten Paolini in straight sets, dismantled Pavlyuchenkova on red clay in Madrid, round 1 6-3 6-3, and trained 2 weeks at the most decorated clay academy on earth. All while the player she beat in Dubai prepares to defend 2,000 ranking points she cannot afford to lose. Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova has played professional tennis for 18 years. She was a Roland Garros finalist in 2021. She has built a career on clay, has beaten top 5 players on the surface, and has the kind of locker room credibility that does not get handed out for a runner-up press tour. On April 23rd, Less than 24 hours after losing to Eala in straight sets in the Madrid first round, Pavlyuchenkova told reporters publicly that Eala's game is consistent and well-suited to clay courts. That sentence was not a courtesy. A clay court veteran does not tell the tour on the record that a 20-year-old's game translates to the dirt unless she has just felt it. Pavlyuchenkova was not warning the press. She was warning Paolini. She was warning Sabalenka. She was warning the entire Italian Open women's draw 11 days before the first ball was struck that the unseeded entry from the Philippines is not a free win on this surface, and the room she said it in includes the woman seeded 9th in her own home tournament. The Foro Italico is not a neutral arena this year. Italy is home to roughly 165,000 Filipinos, the largest Filipino community in continental Europe, concentrated heavily in Rome itself. The same demographic engine that turned Dubai's center court into a Manila satellite in February is already mobilizing. Filipino sports outlets in Italy are coordinating turnouts. Italian tennis Twitter is openly anxious about the home court advantage Paolini was supposed to inherit being shared by a country she has played exactly once. The ranking math is its own pressure cooker. Paolini is defending 2,000 points in Rome. A collapse here drops her below the top 10 before Roland Garros seeding is finalized. Eala meanwhile needs a deep Rome run to push back into the seeded territory she lost in March, which means the difference between drawing Sabalenka in round 1 of the French Open and drawing a qualifier may be decided on the very court where Paolini built her legend. After Rome comes the Parma Open from May 12th. Then Strasbourg qualifying the week after, and then the Roland Garros draw on May 22nd. Every match Eala plays at Foro Italico is a brick in the Paris draw that follows. Rome is not new territory in the painful sense. Last May, Eala walked onto a Foro Italico court for the first time and was bageled in the opening set by Marta Kostyuk. 6-0, 6-1, a 48-minute first-round exit. 8 days ago, Mertens did something close to the same in Madrid. Eala's social media went quiet for 2 full days after that loss. No statement, no spin, no carefully worded resilience post. Then on May 1st, the practice photos surfaced. Mallorca red clay drilling cross-court forehands beside Swiatek. The bounce-back window from Madrid humiliation to Rome arrival was 9 days, and she spent it on the same courts that built Rafael Nadal. She did not need to tell anyone she was ready. The training partner did the talking. On a practice court in Mallorca where the rankings stopped matching. 27 minutes to take a set off the world number 8 back in Dubai. 9 words to a stadium full of Filipino flags. How many of you have prayed for me? That turned a third-round result into a global moment. 6-0, 6-1 a year ago in Rome. The wound she walked back into Italy to close. The Italian Open has not started. The draw has not dropped. Jasmine Paolini has not lost a single point of her title defense yet. But the most valuable thing a defending champion brings into a tournament, the quiet certainty that the trophy is hers until somebody proves otherwise, is already gone, and it left in straight sets in Dubai 11 weeks ago. The Princess of Rome is not bowing yet. She is bracing. So here is the call, and it lands in the comments section before Monday's draw. Stake your claim now before the draw prints, and let the rest of the internet see who called it first. If you have been tracking this run since the Miami quarterfinal, since the Dubai upset, since Madrid round 1, this is the channel that has been calling these moves before the rankings caught up. Subscribe before the draw drops on Monday because the next 48 hours are going to redraw the conversation in this sport, and you do not want to be the one reading about it after it already happened. Bring your prediction. We will see who was right by the second week.